in 1964. Today, we're going to give you all an inside look of life here at Orca Encounter. SeaWorld San Diego is home to 9 killer whales, ranging in age from 8 years old to 57 years old. And no day is the same for our team of killer whales, whether they're interacting with other whales or participating in various training and enrichment sessions. Now, we do have various areas the animals can interact. The pool you're looking at here is around 36 feet deep. If we have the underwater viewing pool, that's around 30 feet deep with an underwater rock structure and live fish the animals can interact with. So with all that being said, now is the time to introduce you all to the amazing animals you're going to meet during your inside look, starting with Orchid at stage with Hannah there. Now, Orchid is around 33 years old, and she is the first killer whale born at SeaWorld San Diego. Now, one of the cool things to know about Orchid is that she's very intelligent and has learned a lot of behaviors very quickly. So that even means pairing one behavior with another and creating a whole new one, which makes her even more intelligent to do that. Great hello from Orchid there. Next up, we will have Orchid, well actually we'll have Shouka. And she's going to be coming over to the left side here. You guys, look right there. Wow. Now that is another way we can ask our animals to come into this area that you're seeing where we have Orchid. So turn your attention right here to in the center. Give it up for Shouka. Now a little blurb about Shouka is she's that 28-year-old female, and she is very athletic, as you just saw. Now, next up, we have Kalia. She's coming over the same way. And Kalia's 17 and can be characterized by those 3 freckles in her left eye patch. Watch her as she comes around here and up in the center. Give it up for Kalia, everybody. One more time to the right. Yeah. Now today we'll be discussing some of the various sessions we can interact with our animals using the acronym HELPER. So the letters stand for Husbandry, Exercise, Learn, Play, Presentation, and also Relate. Now the 3 letters we're going to be focusing on today are going to be Learn, Husbandry, and Exercise. So for the first part, Learn, I'm going to turn this over to one of our trainers named Morgan. She's coming around the bend here with Shouka, and she's going to be working on a behavior called a fish catch. Now, I won't give away too much about it, but just to tell you more about the training and learning process here, is that we utilize a system called operant conditioning, and I'm getting a little scientific on y'all right now. But all that involves is basically consequences that shape the animal's behavior. So anything that we see that we're liking, we reinforce that. So you think about how if you learn to write, you start with letters, then you move on to words, then sentences, and then before you know it, you're writing a whole book. So that's the same thing with learning here and teaching. And yeah, Morgan's going to tell you more about that.
Hi guys, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning. We've got a really exciting behavior. If any of you guys have been to Dolphin Show or Dolphin Amphitheater or Dolphin Point, you might have seen our dolphins do a behavior called a fish catch. So they're going to come, drop, they're going to catch a fish right in the air. Now Shouka here is actually the first killer whale in the world, as far as we know, who's learned this behavior, which is really, really exciting. It's really cool. She's very agile, much like a dolphin. And this behavior is pretty close to being done. But what we're working on is her positioning, as well as her actually catching the fish. So it's a little tough with these guys because the fish looks so small compared to them. But we are going to give it a try. All right, so we're giving the signal, which is a big check mark with the fish in the hand. And we're looking for her to come up straight at me and catch the fish. Now those ice cubes tell her where to go. Let's see if she's got it. Let's give her a big round of applause. That was absolutely perfect. Nice job, Shouka. That was so good. That's exactly what we're looking for. You saw those ice cubes. That helps her figure out where she's supposed to pop up. She's becoming a little bit close, so that was perfect. Super cool. You guys are the first people to witness a killer whale fish catch, so very, very exciting. All right, Arrion, thank you so much. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, everyone, that was so cool just to even see that process there. And it just shows you more about the connection that we can build with the animals from working on behaviors such as this. Now, going more into connections, we're going to move on to our next category, which is husbandry. Now, in order to work on a lot of husbandry behaviors with the animals, you need to have that trust with them and that relationship. So even just like Morgan is here interacting with Shouka and getting her some of that reinforcement, some of that diet that she has, but also playing little games like that can help build their relationship. And for husbandry in particular, today, we're going to be focusing on a behavior called an X-ray. And this is how we would basically get that X-ray, minus some of the minor details, such as the X-ray machine. Now here, Morgan asked Shouka to come up on deck here. And then she has two target poles that are going to help her position Shouka's head in a position where the vets would need an X-ray. And I have this plate here that when Morgan's ready, I'm going to bring it in so that way I can mimic where the vets would come. So here, you'll see I just put it to one side of her head. And in here would be a plate, and that X-ray plate that you've probably seen before. You good with that? All right. And then on the other side would be the X-ray machine. So that way the veterinarians can come up with that machine while we have this plate to the side. And that way they can get that image of their head area. And we can do that with different parts of their bodies as well. But that just shows you the setup of it if we were to have the animals in our slide out or in some of the areas that we have backstage. Now, husbandry, to make it simple, is basically medical cooperative behaviors that help the animals participate in their own health care. So just like how you go to the doctor, you go get in line, sign your name on the paper, give them your insurance information. Here, we just bring the doctor to them. So their checkups come all from here in our veterinarians. So that means we can even do behavioral blood draws where we can ask for them to present their tails. So that way we can draw blood from their tails. And also exhalation samples and even urines, which we've done during our inside looks before, where we can take those, have the vets run diagnostics on it to make sure that the animals are in tip-top shape. And that's what we always want for each of the animals in our care is proactive health care. Okay, so now that we did that husbandry, Taylor on stage, just to point it out, is doing that layout right there that I kind of mentioned where we can draw blood. So she's giving her some scratches on her tail, but at the same time, if a vet were to come in, they can bring a needle to insert into the tail to draw blood from. So that's really cool. And if you think about it, these are close to 10,000-pound animals, and they're letting us take blood from them willingly. So that's really cool to even just imagine that. But yeah, so exciting. Now our next category, Robbin on stage doing a little run. You guys can guess. Exercise, yeah. So exercise sessions for our animals is basically getting that respiration up as well as that heart rate. So just like how we would do exercise, it's similar right here, but we're only scratching the surface to how athletic these animals are. We just promote these sessions so that way we can get them engaged in that activity. So what this looks like, you see we don't have any treadmills or any ellipticals, but we do have the ability for the animals to participate in behaviors that are natural to them or behaviors that we have trained here. So that can include them swimming fast around the perimeter of the pool for multiple laps. You can imagine that can be athletic right here as you're seeing. Orchid here. Now I want y'all to see the wave she's making, right? Holy moly. Now that wave is going to show you how powerful she is and how much of that water she moves just by going through it that fast. So you'll see Taylor on stage, ask Kalia for that fast swim. So the signals that we give the animals, you probably have seen them. We utilize our hands for sure for those. This one right here means swim fast. So here we go, Kalia swimming real fast. And then you'll see Taylor tapping that, what we call a target pole on that far side, just letting her know what position to come into. So she did that perfectly. And she's gonna loop around again. And then Taylor gave her a good old whistle, you probably heard that, to let her know, great job, come on back. But another thing is that Robbin on stage, he has a box in his hand, And that is going to allow us to tone for the animals to let them know they did a great job as well. So it sounds underwater, you probably can't hear it here, but that's what it lets him know. So right here we have Shouka. She's on a behavior called a vortex. And we call it that because she swims fast in a circular, almost barrel roll pattern. So she's swimming in a circular pattern around the perimeter. There she goes. Now in the wild, killer whales are going to use that speed, which they can get up to around 30 miles an hour, to capture their prey. Also to get through various environmental situations they may come up upon. But you can imagine for any animal trying to get away from an orca, it's probably going to be pretty hard. All right, so everyone turn your attentions to the center. Let's see what these animals have in store for us.
Where are they, Zane?
Now that behavior is very similar to a behavior you see from killer whales in the wild to stun fish. And they're asking for multiple of these.
Get ready.
So they're more going to toss some ice cubes in the surface of the water to let the animals know to keep going. And that was perfect. So they got that whistle. And to talk more about our training here, we do want to make sure that we let the animals know and very clear with them on what we're looking for so we don't confuse them. So anything that we see that they like, going back to operant conditioning that I was talking about, we reinforce that. So that it doesn't necessarily have to be just fish. Everyone thinks that we only use just fish to reinforce the animals. We reinforce them with anything they find reinforcing. So that can be ice cubes, snow, it can be trainers, it can be interaction with trainers and other animals. So right here, the trainers have asked the animals to do a slide across stage. So if you turn your attention here, they're aiming their pattern there. Feel free to get your cameras out. There's Kalia and Shouka. That's okay. Yeah, give them a round of applause. And a lot of people do ask, what do we do if we see something that we are looking for from the animals? And it's as simple as just moving on. We ignore it, we get what we call an LRS, which lets them know to come back to us for 3 seconds, and we reinforce them for just showing that calm behavior. But once more, coming up on stage, we have Kalia on the stage here, Orkid in the center, and one more in the middle. And everyone, I believe that was our finale behavior. Maybe? We might have one more. But with that, we want to thank you all so much for coming to visit us here today for our Inside Look at Orca encounter. Now for one final goodbye, give it up for Shouka, Orkid, and Kalia. All right, everyone. So if you wish to continue your Inside Look adventure, please join us at our various other locations. Definitely have some opportunity to see screenings of Sea Rescue, but also participate in question and answer sessions with community partners as well as our rescue team. We do have Inside Look scavenger hunts for purchase at the front of the park. And we do. Beautiful. Leah's telling you guys to have fun with all of our Inside Look activities. But you can also definitely attend any of our question and answer sessions at Wild Arctic, Penguin Encounter, but also Sea Lion Point. But thank you all so much for coming, and feel free to come to the center to ask me any questions. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.